Monday Night Football is upon us in what should have been a glorious challenge for our boy Jayden Daniels against Patrick Mahomes. Well, now it's a god-ugly matchup with Marcus Mariota and Patrick Mahomes, in which the Chiefs are an 11-point favorite at home. That doesn't mean we're not going to do the work here for Monday Night Football, as we always do here on the Splash Play channel. We're going to dig in, look at projections in particular from Stochastic. We'll also compare some data over to our friends at ETR. Going to look at ownership projections as well, see who's going to be the chalk on today's slate, who might be a little low-owned gem that you could find for yourself. We'll run an ETR build, see what the cash game lineups look like on the solver. We'll run some sims on Stochastic and ETR. I'll try to do a hand build, and by the end of this video, you'll know 3 ways to get unique on this Monday Night Football Showdown slate. So let's get into it. Hope it was a good slate for you guys. It was a very nice slate for me, and actually had a lineup that was top 50 in a play action for most of the day, and by the end, unfortunately, I think some of the late chalk getting there in particular, Jonathan Taylor upset my lineups, but the Bijan thing, the biggest curveball of yesterday that talked about a lot on Stochastics Live Before Lock. And for right now, if you want to catch me guys on Sunday mornings, final takes video, I'm taking a rest with it because it's just not good for my flow. My lineups are a lot better when I have that extra time to build. Live Before Lock, those Sundays, you get all the takes out from me, including a lot of Justin Fields propaganda yesterday that I would say actually paid off, and I would say visually that was the best Justin Fields looked in a while, especially when the deficit became so big. They actually had to let him throw. Things looked okay, so there's hope yet for Jet stacks, I guess, but irrelevant to this slate today, besides me just wanting to be proud of my boy, Justin Fields, for once. Second, Bijan and Invoice. Yeah, the best teams I had yesterday, and I did talk about this a lot on Live Before Lock, mentioned it on the Must Plays on Friday, as well as the data video. Ended up being a Saquon day, a matchup where the Giants defense is really bad. That was one that got you different. James Cook, another one that got you different. There was one more 35-point guy, that Breece Hall. Breece Hall I had in the lineup that did the best for me yesterday. There was a lot of guys you get to that weren't Bijan. When I was on Live Before Lock yesterday, just seeing the 50% ownership for Bijan for a main slate, that's not really where you want to be as much. So I ended up being a little bit above the field, but still had a profitable day. So I think it's an important lesson, I suppose, of DFS. You could still play the chalk, but if you are playing, 150, I was playing 190 lineups yesterday. I'm actually closer to 200. Because of that, I had different looks overall. It wasn't just all Bijan. And I also had lineups too that didn't pivot all the way to the Falcons chalk opening up with Darnell Mooney. When Drake London got rolled out, it looked like Mooney would be a very popular play. Just wasn't a believer. And Kirk Cousins' ability to get him the ball, that helped me out a little bit as well. But it could have been better. Not just Bijan, the whole Falcons team looked like ass. Again, Kirk Cousins' fault, I think. Arrest the Falcons, FBI. Yeah, arrest the Falcons indeed. But you know what? It's a new day, guys. It's always the joy here of moving to Monday Night Football and the showdown slate. You get your shot at the big paydays. You get your shot at a new game environment. And you get your shot today at the Chiefs. 29.5 implied points, very high total. If the Colts weren't weekly putting up massive implied totals and massive actual totals, that'd be one of the higher totals of the year, but the Colts have kind of ruined it. That said, the Chiefs, 29.5 implied points, one of the higher totals you will see in an NFL year. Washington has fallen precipitously. It looked like there was a chance for Jayden to play. Supposedly, Jayden felt good enough to play in the last game for him. They wouldn't let him come back in, as has been the case with the Commanders. Really, all of Jayden's career so far, they are warped by the previous visions of RG3. They now have to overly protect Jayden in every spot. He's not playing tonight, even though he fucking should be playing in a marquee Monday Night Football game. That said, there will be opportunity because of that low total for Washington to go to Mariota. Mariota, though, has been, in a lot of my data, one of the worst QBs in football relative to catchable ball rate, 69% catchable ball rate. A nice number normally, but not a good one here. It seems like, based on the total, that the markets are expecting the worst of the Commanders. I think you're going to probably make more money playing into the hope that the Commanders look like at least close enough to what a Jayden version of the offense would be. But we'll talk about that here as we get into the data. We got, what? Prize clicks. That's for all your takes, brother. I was as high. Okay. Thank you. I don't know what prize clicks means, but am I the prize click in this scenario? I think that'd be a trademark infringement here. Imagine how much more excited we would be if he was playing tonight. Geez, yeah, I would be really happy. My best ball portfolio would really love it if Jayden and Bucky would get back in, if nothing, in addition to a million other things that could occur, but that would really help out. Either way, your top pick player here, my shock face for Mahomes, 25.4 fantasy points from Mahomes is just absolutely fucking insane. Really high projection here. He's going to get into every single lineup, whether it is his captain or whether it is in the flex. Would say, though, your job for the day is to try to find ways to not play Mahomes at captain, or just maybe try to find ways to not play into the Chiefs passing game. But the issue is really the running backs are so useless for Kansas City. They're moving the ball well. They're passing 8% more than expected right now. They're passing 11, actually no, still 8% in the red zone, but running a lot of play action, running a lot of motion. It's leading to a ton of efficiency. Why would my name be Prize Clicks? My name is Chris Spags. Why I don't know who you're thinking of, Michael, but no, I am not Prize Clicks, and I have no idea who you're talking about. And I don't know what this weird subliminal promotion is, but fuck Prize Clicks, whoever he is, it's not me. Patrick Mahomes, I think that for what's going on in people's brains, man? Of all the things, Chris Spags, my name on everything. Splash Play would be another one you could think I am. Why Prize Clicks? Patrick Mahomes, though, 25.4 fantasy points here. Going to be borderline unfadable. The logic backs out. As we've talked about the last few weeks, Washington's defense, one of the worst in football right now, particularly bad versus the pass, giving up 0.13 EPA per dropback, 0.15 EPA per pass. They're also bad versus the run, 0.03 EPA, positive number there is not good to see. But for Kansas City, because they pass so much, because everything is flowing through Mahomes' hands, and he's also running 5 times a game, running in the red zone 1.4 times a game. He's got great role here. Hard to fade him. 11K salary is not even that unreasonable as well for the slate. You can see on the prices here. I'd use the main slate projections because something's off with stochastic. But basically for Mahomes, he is a strong play. Should be a top value no matter what. And again, a guy that's going to get in every lineup. So just keep that in mind. Rashee Rice at number 2, 18.3 fantasy points for him. Looking not too bad as well. Certainly going to be a natural target that people put with Patrick Mahomes. As I mentioned last week and during the data video in particular, Rashee Rice, a 59% target per out run, where they had this kind of victim complex with him. They felt like it was unfair that he was penalized for going 125 miles and injuring somebody while racing somebody in a Texas area. They thought that he was a victim. They fed him the ball to kind of try to, I don't know, whatever the fuck NFL teams do in these kind of situations. But to show that we're behind our guy, they did that, gave him 10 targets in that game while only running 17 routes. That's not going to happen again today. I think as a result, people might chase Rashee Rice a little bit more. He's 9,600, which is not a bad price tag for him. But you have Worthy at 8,600, Marquise Brown, who I'm not super stoked about, but he is 5,400. Travis Kelce right there at 8K as well. You have ways to not play Rashee Rice today, and you got to keep in mind with that big box score total, the fact that people don't understand as well that your Rashee Rice getting fed that much, like if you got fed like Puka Nacua, 35 to 40% target per out run rate, sure, you can maintain that. JSN is hanging around in that range, even though it's towards the lower end. 60% target per out run, you can't maintain. It's not going to be possible to do. And even though they do give him a lot of low ADOT stuff, like they can theoretically give him the ball as much as they want, it's just not how football teams usually work. So to me on the slate, just with what Rashee Rice did in his return and the fact the numbers seem untenable, and frankly, it's kind of crazy. You did have a negative EPA per target, negative 0.16 EPA, and that's with catching multiple touchdowns because he had 4 red zone opportunities, all of which were inside the 10-yard line. Like, he didn't actually live up to what the usage was. So I guess that, you know, depending on how you view things, that could be scary to fade Rashee Rice. But in reality, I just don't know how he gets the workload to be this much. And there are a million guys that Mahomes can throw it to. So Rashee Rice, again, not a guy I'm advocating to fade necessarily. Just don't be shocked when he's a little bit higher owned than he should be. And the results are not in line with what they were last time out because they're entirely unsustainable. We got Marcus Mariota here, a 16.8 projection. Get a nice projection normally for a guy who is at a $9,200 price tag, certainly a little bit cheaper than Jaden would have been. That's for Mariota. He has been bad in terms of getting the ball where it needs to go. Again, a 69% catchable ball rate. We're normally looking at like 74, 75% for a not good QB. The Anthony Richardson types last year, he was at 58%. So that's like egregiously bad. Normally you don't last the starter very long, and it'll be in the case for him this year. For Mariota at 69%, he's played enough that he should be better. He's going against a KC team that's fairly soft with an 83% catchable ball rate, a little bit worse than league average. They do blitz a good amount. Mariota has been a little bit worse than league average under pressure, a negative 0.6 EPA on those plays. It's not awful. It's not great. 5% sack rate for him. It could get bad if they get home, I think, on Mariota, with the fact that he does throw inaccurate passes and the fact that he doesn't seemingly, handle pressure that well. They turn into a sack pretty frequently. But for Mariota, I really think in this kind of game environment where we expect so much production overall. Oh, you know what? You guys are seeing the wrong screen. That's my bad. I didn't switch it over. Because basically the The Showdown slate, they didn't update correctly. Now you're getting it correctly. Okay, sorry, guys. I was actually on this tab. Look, I was saying the things anyway. But I was on the main projections here, which are off because of the salary. But this one, yes. Jordan Love is a high projection. Thank you. I unfortunately can't control when they update, and they had not updated before the stream. Anyway, Mariota at number 3. The projection's still the same here. He looks pretty good overall. The big thing for Mariota, though, is that he has been not a great QB, but in a game environment where you expect him to have to drop back a lot, he's going to be your most volatile piece, I would say, on the slate, where I think, he has the ability to play the Commanders into this game. He also has the ability to play them out of this game and be a thing that makes the Chiefs defense make a winning lineup. So right away, to me, I think if you're not playing Mariota, I would probably consider playing more Chiefs defense. If you're using a tool like the Solver, you could try to boost those things, or you could just kind of comb through on Stochastic Sim and find lineups where you don't have Mariota, you do have Chiefs D. But I think that's really the relationship today, is that Mariota, if he plays well, Chiefs defense doesn't make it, and also the Commanders probably hung in the game. If Mariota plays poorly, Chiefs defense probably did make it, and the whole thing kind of went to shit, most likely, for the Commanders. Xavier Worthy, a 12.4 projection. You could see why we're going to get so much Mahomes here, given the fact the number 4 guy is literally half the projection of Patrick Mahomes. Worthy, though, your most live pivot, in my opinion, to Rashee Rice right away, because of the fact that if he does get deep shots downfield, if he does convert those, you lose some of the nickel, cheap bullshit that we see for Rashee Rice. Nickel and diming is what I was going to say, not just nickel defense. For Rashee Rice, he'll be played a lot. Worthy will be played a lot less. That's really the main thing to think in mind when you think about game theory and DFS. For Xavier Worthy, awful projection, though. A little bit better than Debo, though, at number 5. Xavier Worthy, 12.35. Debo, 12.34. So these guys basically tied for that 4/5 spot. Really not great projections today is the main thing here. And with Washington's total being so low, do you think they're maybe undershooting guys like Debo, guys like McLaurin, who has been awful this year, but is back out there and theoretically full health? Unfortunately for me, in a week without Jaden, really intrigued by playing the Commanders' passing game, just because you have now your star players back. You have besides the QB, you have Mariota, who has been passable at times, even though I would still say he's not particularly good. I think there's hope for the passing game here today, even though the projections don't make me feel like it. Let's see. The take won't pan out. Rice getting peppered at least until the Chiefs are up 3 touchdowns. Yeah, that's how that goes. Whenever something happened one week, play the exact same thing the next week in a field in which people are also going to be doing the exact same thing. I think that's great DFS play, he says sarcastically. As I said a million times, you can think Rashee Rice the best play in the world. It's important to humble yourself and realize, and just also understand game theory in a basic way. Everybody who plays an NFL slate will think that exact same thing. He went nuts last game. That's part of what my job is here, is to keep you honest, keep myself honest as well with my gambling, and point out that Rashee Rice getting targeted 59% of the time he's running a route is not like anything else in football. Those things don't occur over the course of a season. That's the main point here to take away, is that things find their depth. Utical talks about it on Pete's video almost every week. That's a guy who wins millions of dollars playing DFS every year, if you don't want to believe me. Really just don't think that you're thinking a special thought by going, Rashee Rice is going to get a lot of targets after he just had a lot of targets at an unsustainable clip the week before last. But he should run more routes today than 17. That's a positive. Patrick Mahomes, your top value as well, 2.3x value at 11K. Again, he's just going to get into every single lineup. So thinking about ways to play him uniquely, which is not assuming that Rashee Rice goes nuts again, that's a big thing on the slate. Ben Sinnott at $200. Ben Sinnott, unfortunately, just so iced by the fact that there's a million other guys in the rotation. Sinnott, the last time that the Commanders played, he did have 20 snaps. John Bates had 29. Zach Ertz, 45. So Ben Sinnott getting some work at $200. He is an athletic enough player, even though we really haven't seen it on the field very often. Part of the appeal of him and part of why he got drafted so highly by the Commanders, great catch and run player, the ability to make downfield plays. He's just not out there enough. He's mostly out there as a blocker when he is out there, which he's good at as well. But really for Ben Sinnott, Showdown is really the only time you can play him, I guess, because he's not going to be viable in a DFS slate or in best ball until Zach Ertz retires. And even then, he might not ever be viable. Ben Sinnott, I love him. I still love him from the rookie year stuff and the data that he brought to the table, but I just fucking $200, even that, I really don't want to play him that much. If the field is right about Rice, congratulations. How do you separate from the 80% of your friends? Exactly. It's just really the basic of DFS, and like, Again, and I say it might come off as like brusque or rude or whatever, but it's like, it's really like, this is the whole thing. If we're in week 8 of DFS and you're still just going like, this guy who had one good week, I got to get back on that again, especially on a showdown where you know everybody's going to do it. It's not great game theory. Which Sim's going to get mad at today, Chris? I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. But it's tight end week. That's true. Travis Kelce is a tight end. Keep that in mind. Maybe that'll mean Rashee Rice comes in low owned. Harrison Butker, your number 3 value here, 9.5 projection at a 5K salary. Get a high total here for KC. The expectations that they'll be able to move the ball. And also, if Washington doesn't press enough, they can just kick field goals all day and be happy for it. I would think that Butker is certainly one way to get different as well from the KC pass game that should be so highly owned because if drives stall out, Butker kicks field goals. Same thing for the running backs. If they just run in touchdowns, you see Kareem Hunt punching a couple. He is still getting 2 red zone opportunities a game. Pacheco's actually up to 1.9. Brashard Smith is up to 2 opportunities a game. It's another way that the pass game doesn't get there, but that's sort of what we're trying to do here is think about ways that the expected part of it, which is the Chiefs passing all over the place, how that doesn't happen is more Butker field goals, more rushing touchdowns potentially. This is hurtful. Ben Sinnott is Gen Z's Cole Turner. I mean, look, he's my Cole Turner, and I'm not Gen Z, so, but I certainly hope so. This is not, again, you're talking about 1 week of targets, and I'm also the one that doesn't fucking say fade chalk. It's like, it's okay. You're watching maybe your first video here. I literally say play chalk most weeks. I just said in the beginning of the video that I played Bijan above the field. It's not about fading chalk. It's about fading 1 week of target share and thinking that you're fucking like, ooh, I'm honestly, just take a lap, guy. Like, people who are willfully dumb, this is probably not the channel for you. I'm sorry. Like, I don't have the patience for it. And we're in week 8. You should be smarter in week 8. I can't be more clear about that. Understand data. Understand what you're gambling on is a really important thing. Understanding that a guy doesn't command a 59% target per route run forever, really important part of just what this means. And it's not my job to fucking make everybody not an idiot. But just please hear me out here if you can. Even if you want to play Rashee Rice at the field, fine. Just be mindful of the fact, like Robert from the Turd said, like 80% of people are going to play him. So whatever the number is going to be, 50, 60, 70. It's a lot of people are going to play him the exact same way that you're thinking like, oh, you can't fade him. And it's like, you can fade him. You can fade anybody, especially on a showdown. You could have faded Bijan Robinson in like the nut spot of all nut spots yesterday. Don't point to one guy and ignore the other one, you fucking... It's not the Sims getting me mad today. Rashee Rice, though, your number 4 value. Gee, I wonder if he's going to get into lineups here, being the number 4 value overall. Number 5, Chiefs D, 8.2 as the projection here at a $4,400 salary. For the Chiefs D here, I do think they'll get played a little bit more than they probably should, given the fact they're not really creating a ton of pressure, only hurrying the QB 2.6% of the time. They blitz a lot, a 31% blitz rate, but they don't get home on the blitzes, only a 19% pressure rate. They'll get played because they are an 11-point favorite. And again, I do think that, Marcus Mariota is the most volatile part of the slate. That was the first thing I said about Mariota here. I think you play into him or you play against him. So I think Chiefs D here are going to come up a good amount. That said, I think that for the Chiefs here, they're going to be owned a good amount here because of what this projection looks like. It is a channel for willfully dumb as long as we are brief and dumb. Also fair. If you give me the second chat, I let you be willfully dumb for one chat. But when you do it again, you just say the same thing, but more incorrectly. That's where we lose it. Falcons are the team to go nuts on, admittedly. They're a team to go nuts on, like ownership-wise. I don't know what you mean. And a goofy voice, love it. Well, there we go. That's the first thing that comes to mind. It's either Goofy or the Country Bears is what I think about when people do some bumpkin-ass shit and think the most basic thing. And I say it for myself. Like, I am not like a simpleton when it comes to football data, but a lot of my first thoughts end up being everybody else's first thoughts, and just humbling yourself enough to recognize that it's a really important part of DFS, and that's why some of the best DFS players literally play the inverse of every slate. But, do whatever the fuck you want. It's your money. You want to always lose money every week and then come here and wonder why you do. That's the why. It's thinking Rashee Rice, you got to lock him in. That's why people lose money, whether he hits or not. Doesn't matter. Patrick Mahomes, 93% expected ownership here. Chalk of all chalk here at 11K. 41% captain ownership. These numbers are batshit. In practicality, I don't think he gets to 41% at captain, but he's been going nuts. Everybody knows that. Everybody's going to be stoked to play Rashee Rice with him. Going to be really obvious stuff that people try to do today because that's what happens on a Monday Night Football kind of casual slate. Being dumb and not overthinking it, I mean, I guess. We're still talking about, the Dunning-Kruger curve for sure. Thoughts of Mahomes, a captain with zero salary on the table to be Nolan, again, so good of a DFS player that he always comes in with good jokes like that. But I do think that for Patrick Mahomes here, yeah, you can see the ownership. People will try to get cute, play Rashee Rice at captain instead. They'll go to 19%. So is Worthy the obvious captain pivot? I mean, the obvious captain pivot for Mahomes will be Rashee Rice. That's gonna be the first one people play. If I had to guess, Mahomes ends up like 33. Rashee Rice ends up 20 to 25 would be more my guess. Worthy then probably comes in 10 or so as opposed to 5. Maybe single digits, the lower side of 10, but I think 10. But I would guess right away that like you never really see captain get, especially for a non-rushing QB, get to this high. So this Mahomes number, in my opinion, we'll see what happens when I do live before lock later today with Laffy. But if I had to guess, Mahomes probably a little bit lower, Rice a little bit higher, Pacheco still probably the same amount, Worthy a little bit higher, Kelsey probably more like 5 to 10, I still think. But besides the ownership here, just kind of speculating here. That's not the usual process. Rashee Rice, 62% expected ownership, 19% at captain. Again, you're not getting anything too favorable here ownership-wise. Also, wouldn't shock me if the 62% number is a little bit low. People are just going to chase the number. They saw Rashee Rice get fed immediately last week. That's how DFS goes every single week, and it's important to understand that. Rashee Rice, I think the captain ownership, a little bit light, and if I had to guess the flex ownership, a little bit light. Mariota, 55.5% ownership here. Field at 9%, excuse me. Mariota, I think a decent enough play if he runs a little bit more here. And he should run out of desperation. Chiefs defense has inhibited QB runs fairly well. A 0.2 EPA per QB run is less efficient than league average by a decent clip. But, Mariota, I think in desperation mode, he can pass. He's going to drop back a lot here. He might scramble out of that. I think Mariota, a solid play at captain, but 9% ownership. I don't know if that's much of a discount compared to what I would have thought it could have been. Pacheco, 38% expected ownership. So the chalk here is just really pronounced. You're going to get a lot of Mahomes, Rashee Rice, Mariota here. Everybody else under 40% expected ownership. So like the lineups here are telling you, the ownership is telling you, the tale of what the lineups are going to be. Pacheco's looking a little bit closer to where he's been historically, but still inefficient with a negative 0.06 EPA per rush, a negative 0.3 EPA per target. 12% avoided tackle rate is about what Pacheco was historically, so up from the fucking 5% or whatever he had last year where he was really bad. The red zone work is not guaranteed for him. 1.9 red zone opportunities a game for him. As I mentioned, Brashard Smith is at 2. Kareem Hunt hanging tight at 1.6, all of which are rushing opportunities per game. I think that for the running back situation here, and let's look at snaps real fast. Last week, Pacheco, 45 snaps. Hunt, 15, which is a season low for Hunt, so maybe a bit of a tide change there. Brashard Smith at 28. This is the tough part, is that like Pacheco's going to project better from Hunt getting less snaps last week, but I think the opportunity is still going to be kind of similar for Pacheco. Brashard Smith hitting a snap high, and Mahomes has been talking him up a lot. That could be something that factors in a little bit with Brashard Smith at 4K. I think people will play Pacheco more than the results that he's had this year deserve. Snap count being high, a positive, his own inefficiency, and the fact the red zone share has been so split between him, Brashard Smith, and Hunt, not good things. But I think it's hard to not be with the field on Pacheco, maybe even a little bit above it, because of what he represents and trying to get away from the passing game for KC. That will be pretty obvious. And Xavier Worthy, your 5th highest expected owned guy, 35% ownership projected by Stochastic, 5% in captain. For Worthy, just seems like the most logical pivot to Rashee Rice. But Travis Kelce is lower owned at 25%, a little bit cheaper as well than Worthy, 2.5% expected owned at captain. I think that really just playing Worthy, playing Kelce, these aren't like my favorite players in the world. And I certainly see the merits of Rashee Rice as that Puka proxy. A guy's going to get, low A dot targets spammed his way. But with everybody expecting Rashee Rice after the results he had last week in his debut and what the projection is and what the salary is, I think you're just better off playing more Worthy, playing more Kelce, and hope you can capture the pass game that way. Mariota did throw himself a TD at Arrowhead before. I think he was a Titan. I mean, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter if he was a Commander or a Titan, but the fact he did it, that is noteworthy, I guess. Probably not going to happen too often, though, if I also had to guess that. What do I think of odds of a $200 a point projection punt will be tonight? The same as they usually are. There's nobody that good here. I mean, nobody popped up as a top value, so 1 to 5. Isn't Hunt the natural captain pivot? No, because he's only got 15 snaps last week. Obviously, in a different week, it can spike a little bit more, but I don't think any of the RBs is like a safe captain pivot. Like Pacheco, I think has the best shot just with that snap count. But Brashard Smith, you could cram in a lot of studs with that if he does pay off, and he's getting targeted 51% of the time he's running a route this year. Like, I think any of the running backs, probably hard to hit at captain, but can make a lineup. Low-owned guys here, and frankly, there's a lot of them on the slate because of all the ownership going a particular way. Commanders D at 10%. You get leverage on Mahomes. Mahomes, though, has been pretty accurate overall. 79% catchable ball rate is actually just league average. Commanders are deflecting 11% of passes. We actually, on Showdown slates, I feel like a couple of weeks ago, we had a Mahomes interception that on a team I did take as the defense. They could pick 6 was what it was against Mahomes. I forgot what game that was. For Mahomes, just with how high he is owned and the fact that he is playing a little bit fast and loose, I don't hate Commanders D here because I do think people will play Chiefs D due to the total being, again, 11-point spread favoring the Chiefs. So Commanders D, you get leverage there. Usually one defense and the other defense negatively correlate to some extent. So Commanders D at 10% is noteworthy. Kareem Hunt under 10%. It's not that bad. Jeremy McNichol at 7%, Jalen Lane at 7%. Lane's role is probably mostly gone because of McLaurin and Debo being back in. But he could return. He could also catch a touchdown sometimes. Not totally out of play, but at 4,200, pretty close out of play. Noah Gray, what's his snap count at relative to Kelsey? Noah Gray played 48 snaps last week. Kelsey played 50. Noah Gray at 2K, not quite that $200 player you want. That's a live number. I don't think Noah Gray's getting a lot of targets this year. Kind of seems like the passing role is dissipated for him. Only a 14% target per out run, no red zone targets on the year, 2.1 targets a game. Yeah, the role's not very good for Noah Gray right now, but he's out there a lot. That's a lot of snaps. It's more than I thought for Noah Gray offhand. That was it. Devin Lloyd touchdown. Good call, Jake. Yeah, that was the one where I was like, Jags D, they hang out a lot. They create a lot of pass deflections. That ended up becoming a pick, but obviously wasn't the most likely touchdown in the world, but it did happen. All right, Ben Sinnott here, another low-owned guy. Chris Moore, another guy losing a role. McCaffrey, another guy losing the role. Tyquan Thornton also losing the role at this point with Worthy, Rashee Rice, and Hollywood Brown all healthy. Really not a lot to love down here. Chris Rodriguez still live as a pivot to Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. When Krosky-Merritt fucks up, Chris Rodriguez gets on the field, but really not a lot to love. Where's Krosky-Merritt at? 28% ownership. If the Commanders get an early lead, Krosky-Merritt at 7,200. I don't think he's likely to make it a captain, but vaguely interesting as well. All right, let's go to ETR's data now. We'll see what we get over here. And let me go to the showdown. All right. Hopefully it won't log me out. But guys, show some love if you can. If you get any value to this video, even if you're just going to listen to the guy go and play Rashee Rice and think that he's some sort of genius, please subscribe down below. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. Every day here, I'm trying to do the best I can to prepare you guys for slates, mostly just to show you how I'm thinking about a slate, how I'm preparing myself to gamble my money away the same way that all of you guys are there. But that's what we are here in NFL. You're just Sisyphus rolling a boulder uphill. It's better to do it together and better to at least have a read on things using the data as best we can, trying to understand stuff like Rashee Rice having a 59% target per out run. That's sort of what I'm here for, is to fact check stuff that you see and you're like, I don't get it. Or maybe, you just don't, you don't view it the same way. Just think about things a little bit differently. That's all I would say here. But no matter what you're doing, please do hit that like button. Please subscribe. It goes a long way for me here. And shout out to all you guys who have been joining Stochastic this month. It does mean a lot to me because it supports how I'm able to do this content for NFL and NBA. But use the promo code SPLASH or click the link down below to get 15% off right now. Their deals are starting to go away because NBA season is already going. NFL season, we're at the halfway point. But you always get the 15% off with that promo code SPLASH, and it is in perpetuity too. So pretty good deal, and half the money you pay to Stochastic comes back to me. And this has actually been, I'll just be real with you guys, it's been the most affiliate money I've made in a month. So hoping that the hard work continues on here with NBA and NFL making my brain bleed a little bit. But today, NBA at 2 p.m. as well on the Splash Play Bets channel. So come check that out. But now we're on to the solver stage of our journey here. We're going to tweak the projection just a little bit. Actually, no, that's not going to, is that going to do it? I don't know if I change the sim projection if it'll allow me to build a cash game, but let's see. No, it will. Okay. Thought I might have to change the actual projection. But what we're trying to do here is build the cash game lineup, see what ETR data is going to push us on, much the same way we labored over Stochastic's projections. And not a surprise here, it is a Chiefs 5-1. My God. All right. Chiefs pass game is going to be more owned potentially than any showdown play has been in a while. Good point. Stochastic sub did take down the Millie. Didn't tweet me at it, so I don't know if they watched live before lock. But yeah, that was a Stochastic sub that won yesterday, so shout out to them. 98.2 fantasy points, though, would be your cash game lineup if you were playing a cash game at 12:30 p.m. on the East Coast. Patrick Mahomes, Rashee Rice, Marcus Mariota, Isaiah Pacheco, Harrison Butker, Juju Smith-Schuster makes it, even though his role is also quickly dissipating. Juju with the return of Rashee Rice down to 29 snaps last week. He was playing 40, 42, 57, 50, 42, 49 before that. So Juju's still out there, but the more that Rashee Rice ramps up, the less you're going to get Juju out there. So I'm not crazy about him being in a cash game, but he is here in a 5-1 build. Overall, across the top 25 lineups, again, this is what we're talking about here. And not to just keep beating up on the Viking guy who I don't think, I don't think is all the way there for thinking about showdowns the right way, to say it charitably. You get 100% Patrick Mahomes, 100% Rashee Rice. This is always the most important thing to take away in a showdown. That means that right away these guys will get into every single lineup. That also means that they're probably the best plays on the showdown slate. But showdowns in particular, they can be so variant in terms of how the game flow of one game goes, and especially when you have an outlier performance for Rashee Rice, where he had 60% target per out and run last week. In the best case scenario, he's going to drop 20% off of that over the course of this week, the next few weeks, whatever the case may be. So when you see Mahomes and Rashee Rice naturally coming into every lineup, your thought right away should be, if I fade both these guys, I'm getting away from a very large portion of the field. If I play max one of these guys, which is how I won 25K in a showdown a couple seasons ago, it was a slate where it was Joe Burrow and T. Higgins coming up in 100% of lineups, just like Mahomes and Rashee Rice are. I played max one of them. It ended up being Higgins that hit, Burrow didn't. That's sort of how that goes. So for these two guys, Mahomes and Rashee Rice, they're going to be in every lineup, and it's important to think about that. If you play them straight away, you have to do unique things around that, playing another captain, playing a build that includes Commanders D, just as kind of a thought starter. That stuff will get you off the beaten path from playing these two guys a little bit more, but your mission, if you're going to play these two guys today, is to be mindful of the fact that you have to leave salary on the table, build a Commanders dominant build, just do something different, because everybody will play these guys as intended. Mahomes and captain will have a lot of duplicates. I mean, if you're playing full salary, most likely, yeah. But it depends on the pieces you're playing. Like, you could still play Mahomes at captain if you want. I do think when a guy's projected for 40% captain ownership, you don't want to go nuts on it. But, like, you're leaving salary on the table. You're stacking with guys who aren't Rashee Rice. You're maybe taking no pass catchers, just taking the KC running backs with it. That's not the most logical way to play, but that's sort of what you're thinking about here. Or if you just get like the Brashard Smith catches a touchdown, Noah Gray catches a touchdown kind of day, maybe that sort of is another way that gets different. But I wouldn't necessarily say don't play Mahomes at captain. Just if you're going to play him at captain, play really good lineups that cut away from Rashee Rice with it in a meaningful way. Player stacks, nothing to note here. Overall, though, 56% of these builds are 5-1 Chiefs. Another 36% are 4-2 Chiefs. So you're expecting right away 92% of lineups to have at least 4 Chiefs in it based off the projection math, which means that projection players immediately will be getting more Chiefs dominant builds, which makes sense given the team total. But right away, if you play 3-3, an even kind of balanced build with Commanders and Chiefs, you're getting more unique. If you play a 4-2 Commanders build, you're getting really unique. And if you were to somehow hit in a 5-1 Commanders onslaught, I sincerely doubt those are getting played more than 5 to 10%. Let's see if they have the sim ready for this. They do. All right, we'll run an ETR sim, run a stochastic sim. And let's put 3 uniques in here so we get a little more spread on the lineups. Stacks are all good. Oh, wait, not 225. Let's build 250, and let's put variance on so it goes a little bit faster. All right, now we'll see what we get here. All right, and schedule for the rest of the day, guys, as I mentioned, 2 o'clock, Splash Play NBA on the Splash Play Bets channel. There's also a playlist here on the Splash Play Pod channel if you want to check it out. If you're watching on Twitter, you'll see that flow through Twitter no matter what. And if you want to check me out live before lock today, the data will move around. My lineups will be done by then, hopefully. I'll be live with Laffy at 7:15 Eastern, so no Luka bath time for me today. I'll be hanging out with you. I'll be bathing you and talk about trying to fade Rashee Rice. Just people to go, he's such a great play. Should I do the goofy voice again? What other it? I could be a moody Italian. Oh god, your racism wasn't the way to get back here. I'm just banning you. Sorry, dude. I don't like you. I gotta be honest about it. It's one of the things I can tell really fast from chats. I can tell, number one, if you're part of a cocaine ring, and best ball Twitter thinks you're a really good dude, and I can tell you're gonna get arrested. And I know to key in on you a little bit more, no pun intended. But number two, I've been doing this long enough, going back to my days at Barstool. I know who's an asshole on the internet and who just has nothing that like I need in my life. And that guy, I don't need it. And I think it's an important lesson for all you guys out there, whether you're a content creator or you're just a human being. You don't need to talk to people you don't want to. Like I don't. That's why I don't go on Twitter anymore. Besides to promote stuff, so I don't need it. Thanks for the view, though. Thanks for the dislike. I'm sure you're gonna give me as well. I don't really. Moody Italian. It's not even a stereotype. Those Italians. It's me and Galileo, the two Italians obsessed with math and just understanding how it works. Was Da Vinci good at math? He's good at like creating stuff. I don't know if he's good at math. But I think so. He had a code. I know that. A man's got to have a code. As Omar said, or Stringer Bell, whoever said it, and Da Vinci. Those guys. Been a while since we've had somebody I just didn't like in chat. It's been a minute. I feel like I've done a good job. I've recognized them. Those guys are go away. Hey, we're just waiting for lives to build here, guys. So I'm just rambling. You're not even Italian. To be clear, I am still Italian. I just also happen to be Asian. That's it. Yep, you're banned. That's right, Emmanuel. It's like this is my safe place. This is where I'm just showing you. Like I don't want to make it sound like it's fucking generous. I do this because it makes me money and I enjoy the work and the process. But like this is my place. This is like where I go. This is why I don't have a co-host, because I just want to come on whenever I want to do shit and get it done and get my shit out and talk about whatever I want to talk about. You're not gonna come in and bully me on my own channel with your dumb shit fucking chalk donkey takes. Unbelievable. Mad at the Viking sim. Yeah, he's probably a simulation. He got the brain level of thought. That might be a chat GPT Viking. Missed the Drafters live chat dramatic readings. That's a best ball exclusive, unfortunately. Though I did, our guy KY brought to my attention that every week Drafters has a tournament called the Splash, which feels, again, like trademark infringement. Though I have not trademarked Splash Play. Maybe I should. I could start suing people. That could be my other revenue stream. Anybody uses the word splash could sue Splash Sports. I predate them. That's going to be the next stage of my career. It's like, I'm not making enough off DFS and betting and content. I'm just going to start suing people. I'm going to trademark squat. Got to pay for the slate somehow. Got to play to pay Rashee Rice somehow, or pay to play him. Nick Allegretti, center for the Commanders, is a moody Italian, also a revenge game. It's the Chiefs. Yeah, he's probably going to do some privilege for Columbus today. He'll take revenge on some innocent Native Americans. Sorry. We're at the halfway point of the video and the sim's taking forever to finish. It's kind of make Columbus Day jokes. It's still October. All right. Monday Night Showdown. We're simming in here. ETR now using actual mock-ups of the slates themselves. So we're not just having to sim in the mini-max every week. Shouts ETR for that. Love having representative player fields if we can. Oh, you wrestled Nick Allegretti in high school. I didn't know you were a wrestler, Nolan. Wrestlers, I tend to think, are the most debaucherous of all the athletes out there, because every wrestler I know, it's like they've been fucking running Eiffel Towers on girls. They always grab each other's dicks and shit. And not pro wrestlers, people, like amateur wrestler bros. Like one guy I know is a college wrestler, and my God, like lovely guy, very funny guy, like also has that kind of gallows humor. Most homoerotic dude I know by a decent margin. Tony Soprano was a moody Italian. Would you want to get on his bad side by telling him you're going to play Rashee Rice no matter what? Probably not. We got Marcus Mariota, your top ROI lineup, back on task here. The ETR sim, good to go. This distribution is hilarious. So generally the rule of thumb for ETR data, and their data guys have said it in content before, that they're looking for in the sim graph is like a nice V curve here where it'll lose a good amount. When it hits in a major way. This one hits, but it also loses 12% of the time in like a catastrophic way. But it's Commanders 5-1, and this is really important. We're having fun here, making fun of people being chalky on a showdown slate. But like you see right away, 5-1 here for Marcus Mariota at captain. Rashee Rice, your one bringbacks. This is absolutely a unique way to play Rashee Rice if you want to play him. Matt Gay makes the lineup. Commanders D makes the lineup. Deebo Samuel makes the lineup. Terry McLaurin. What this sim and what ETR does with their play-by-play sims is incorporating how game flow works. So, like, when the Commanders do run away or just, like, the Chiefs underperform on offense while still building a comfortable lead, and we get, I guess in this case, it would not be a comfortable lead because the Commanders kind of kicked the Chiefs' ass in this build. This pays off at a 1.8% clip. So the Commanders probably win outright in a dominant way, like 1.8% of the time. That's reflected here. So this is what you get when you use sims, whether it's a solver or stochastic. It's important just to keep in mind, though, that, like, when you see that coming up top, it's because so many people are playing in the inverse way. And you won't win often, but when you do hit, like, you win all the money. Isaiah Pacheco at number 2 at captain. Patrick Mahomes, Rashee Rice. So here's a 5-1 build going the other way. Deebo Samuel's your Commanders bring back. Harrison Butker makes it. Chiefs D makes it. So you are playing Mahomes and Rice here. Getting more unique by playing the onslaught, theoretically, even though onslaughts do occur naturally in the projection set. But Pacheco at captain here, 6.5% expected ownership there. It's probably the main thing driving the ownership projection coming down, and leaving a little bit of salary, helps a little. Number 3, Patrick Mahomes at captain, Chiefs D. Jeremy McNichols, your one bring back, which does make some game theory sense because if it is a passing down situation and obvious ones, McNichols will be out there to pass block and can catch some screens, stuff like that. Rashee Rice in this 5-1 Chiefs onslaught, Xavier Worthy as well. Pacheco here, so you're getting low owned by playing one of the lesser owned Commanders that people will not play a lot of, especially in a 5-1. This is it. Again, you want to play Mahomes and Rice? There's still going to be lineups that come up with it. Just be creative about it. And not more than just leaving a little bit of salary on the table, too, just for what it's worth. Your number 4 ROI lineup is a Hollywood Brown one. And it's a 3-3 build, so we did see that, at least in the optimal lineups here with the top projected plays, you're going to find not a lot of 3-3s. It's all Chiefs dominant builds. Hollywood Brown at captain, Marcus Mariota here. Deebo Samuel makes it as well with him. Xavier Worthy makes it. McNichols makes it. Mahomes makes it. So a Mahomes stack, but we are fading Rashee Rice because Rashee Rice's production is not occurring. Hollywood Brown's able to hit it captain. That's sort of the way to think about these things, that a sim will spell it out more easily for you. In your number 5 lineup, this one also fades Rashee Rice, but gives production going to another Chiefs receiver at captain. Xavier Worthy here at captain. Then we get 4 Commanders with Mariota, Krosky Merritt, Matt Gay, Jalen Lane, and Mahomes. That feels unique. Feels a little thin, to be honest, as well. But you are getting Worthy at captain at 6.6% ownership. Mahomes still being played, but you're fading Rashee Rice to get away from the cloth a little bit. Let's see. Overall, across these lineups, 86% ROI for the Commanders D is the highest, and that just, again, reflects that outcome where everybody will expect the Chiefs to kick ass. When the Chiefs don't kick ass, or they just kick ass and give a TD away to the Commanders, return touchdown, whatever, the Commanders D does win a good amount of money in the flex with only 8% exposure. Chiefs D as well, 69% ROI, played a little bit at captain, but mostly in the flex here. So both defenses going to be underplayed, it looks like, at least according to ETR's sim. Harrison Butker, 63% ROI at only 22% exposure. So Butker making a lot of lineups. I think in particular in the 5-1 onslaught builds, we did see some Chiefs D and some Butker making it. Jeremy McNichols, 62% ROI for him at 12% exposure. Probably not going to be able to make it a captain no matter what, but certainly builds where the Commanders are playing from behind. McNichols should see the field a little bit more. And Isaiah Pacheco, the 5th highest ROI here, 33% exposure, but he's 61% ROI. He's getting played at captain, getting played in the flex a little bit as well. So Pacheco does seem to be the most ROI-friendly RB out of all the Chiefs guys. So Rice is a clear fade. Well, no, I mean, that's the thing, is like, he's not a clear fade, but the point is just to be mindful of the fact that, like, as opposed to people are going to just dump him in because they think he's Jonathan Taylor at wide receiver, just being mindful of the fact that, like, he's due to come down and produce a little bit less than he did last game. Does that mean that he's less likely to make it as captain? Probably, then people will play him at. But it's mostly just to think about, like, okay, how am I getting different than this, other than just assuming Rashee Rice takes every target and every touchdown, because that's not going to happen every week. So not a clear fade. He could still very easily make it in the flex. Like, his PPR upside alone is it. But your job as a DFS player is to recognize that this guy has, somewhat fragile projection based upon the 1 week that he had last week. And, and the way he'll get played ownership wise will also be fragile because people are going to chase that more than they probably should. So just think about it. It doesn't mean that you don't play him in every lineup. Like if you're playing a 150 max, you probably still have 60 to 70% of him, but be mindful of where you're playing him and getting creative in the ways you're playing him. That's sort of the thing. The spread of this game projects better than I thought it would. Sure. Spags, we love you. I appreciate that extra QT. How much is Washington blitz? 27.5% of the time, and they get pressure 21%, which is more than KC's defense does. But Mahomes has been handling pressure pretty well, I believe. A negative 0.3 EPA on those plays is towards the better side of the league. Only a 4.8% sack rate. Not that bad. Someone did say Eiffel Tower, though, not in the content way. But yes, the Typhel Tower also. You guys renamed it, right? Didn't you isn't it called somewhere else now? Something else now? I don't know. Let's go to Stochastic next. Let's build a sim here. So we saw the ETR side of the aisle. Now, of course, us being politically agnostic when it comes to NFL DFS sims, we'll build on the Stochastic side of things. 50,000 lineups here, which again, ETR, to their credit, now they are building full field sims for themselves. Stochastic is building 50,000 lineups, so you're getting more lineups to sim out on Stochastic, more of a field on ETR. I think there's really a lot of reasons to play both if you can. I get access to them for free, just to be candid, so like that's part of it. But if you can't afford them both, in particular, if you want to get smarter about DFS to understand the way that chalks work, run an ETR sim, run on the solver, run a Stochastic sim, do that for a month. You'll probably become a lot better DFS player with that Prism, but use the promo codes if you want to do that. A link down below for the solver, link down below for Stochastic. And of course, Stochastic is 15% off. Solver gives no discounts because that's the way they do business. Not the way I'd do it, but you know, what do I know? All right. Spelling was a nightmare and it was a dumb joke anyways. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, having SEO, always going to be helpful. That's why like fucking like Underdog, Josh and Hayden, they just renamed their channel at one point like Fantasy Football. Josh and Hayden, it's like, yeah, you're going to get the SEO better when it's something that people actually look for and search for. People don't search for splash play. So, you know, not that I don't make the same mistakes. But shout out to all you guys hanging out here. Again, I will always, as could be the case in my content, I just tell you guys how it is, or at least how I see things, and you can do whatever you want with it, but please show some love here. Hit the like button, subscribe. Always trying to get over 100 likes on these videos because it does help me fight off the YouTube algorithm. NBA channel, we're crushing over there. NFL channel, I probably need to remind you guys more that your support goes a long way for me here. Just one guy will show you my gambling until literally the Super Bowl, and then we start the process in best ball over again, or at least theoretically we'll do that again next year. So please do hit that like button, subscribe, join the Discord as well if you want access to my data sheets, along with all just a great chat we have going in the Discord at all times, really. Join down below, join the channel for $5. It does support the show, and you get access to a premium stream every week, along with my data sheet every week. And NBA, if you want my projections too, that's on the @SplashPlay Bets channel, should you want that. Your top ROI lineups here, and I'll just favorite top 150 without any uniques. We've got Marcus Mariota. So a 3-3 even balance build here. We're not going to the 5-1 build like ETR did. Mariota captain, Brashard Smith makes this one. Again, the snap share rising for him. Definitely noteworthy last week. Matt Gay, Patrick Mahomes, Rashee Rice, Zach Ertz. So we're getting still the Chiefs that people want. Mahomes, Rashee Rice. Getting a little bit more unique by playing Brashard Smith. We were fading the top Commanders receivers, so I do think people will go to over Zach Ertz. And then we're playing Matt Gay instead of Butker, so that's pretty much it. Number 2 is Patrick Mahomes at captain. Hollywood Brown makes it. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt makes it. Kareem Hunt makes this one. He does still have a red zone role, even though the snaps being down to 15 or whatever it was. Definitely not the most encouraging. Marcus Mariota, Travis Kelce leaving 700 on the table. And to do that, to leave that little salary on the table, you did fade Rashee Rice with Mahomes at captain. Number 3 is Mahomes at captain again. Chiefs D makes it. Commanders D also makes it. Krosky-Merritt makes it. Mariota makes it. Worthy makes it. So if you are playing Mahomes at captain, it does seem like the sim is giving you less Rashee Rice. And if you are playing Rashee Rice, you are fading a lot of guys of note and leaving some salary on the table. Your number 4 lineup is Chiefs D at captain. Commanders D also makes it in here. Playing both defenses will definitely be low owned, whether it's a good idea or not. Deebo Samuel, Marcus Mariota, Mahomes and Rashee Rice make it. So to play both Mahomes and Rashee Rice, you have to take the tax of playing a defense at captain, another defense in the lineup as well, and leaving 1,400 on the table. And at number 5, it's Travis Kelce at captain. Chiefs D makes this one. Deebo Samuel makes this one. Kareem Hunt makes this one. Mahomes and Rice do make it as well. So it is a 5-1 build with Deebo. I think playing Kareem Hunt will get your ownership product down enough that I could see this working. But I think that's really the main thing to take away here is when you see Mahomes and Rice in a lineup, there's salary left on the table to some extent. There's weird plays making it in, including defenses. That's sort of the thing. That's the tax for playing the players that everybody wants to play in a showdown is you have to play some weird shit that you probably don't want to play. And still, that's your only way to really get unique. Overall, your highest ROIs, a Rashid captain with no Mahomes could work given pricing and PPR upside in a large field. Yeah, I mean, look, again, that goes back to the max one of the two thing that I think could always play out decently. It's hard to fade Mahomes, I think, with a wide receiver captain. I mean, it will be logistically hard because, number one, obviously Mahomes then has some production that comes with it. And also his projection is so high at 25 fantasy points. Like, Mahomes won't make it, like, the only way Mahomes won't make it in a lineup is if you, go out of your way to not put him in. So that's also certainly part of the dynamic, I think, of how things go. We'll see here. Commanders D, 34% ROI at captain. So kind of similar to what ETR has. The defense is more in play than it seems because they're just not getting played very much. Tyquan Thornton at captain, a 30% ROI. That feels like a really narrow outcome to hit. Thornton does get deep targets when he's out there. So I think the assumption here would be that if Thornton takes away yardage, Rashee Rice probably has a lesser shot to get there, or he gets there in the flex, and that makes you unique enough to play Thornton at captain. Surprisingly high ROI though for Thornton at this point with his role diminishing. Thornton only played last week. He still played 27 snaps, so right there with Juju. Frankly, Hollywood Brown had a not bad day. His role also got cut. So really, it's like Worthy and Rashee Rice should be playing a majority of snaps. The other receivers are all kind of just one, besides Kelce, they're all just kind of one milieu of the same opportunity, really. So I guess I could see playing Tyquan Thornton more than I thought, because I thought that Marquise Brown had a lot more snaps than Thornton last week, and I was wrong about that. Commanders D, 12% ROI here in the flex. So Commanders D coming up at captain and the flex. I think it's mostly because they're not being played at all, and certainly any sim will capture their outcomes where Commanders defense does get takeaways, does perhaps shut down the KC entirely. We don't expect that to happen, but as we've seen enough times here, you also wouldn't have expected the Dolphins completely shut down the Falcons yesterday. Kareem Hunt, 11% at captain is his ROI number, and Travis Kelce at captain, a 0.3% ROI. So your highest guys, Commanders D at captain, Tyquan Thornton at captain, Commanders D in the flex, Kareem Hunt captain, Travis Kelce captain. Everything else is negative. Mahomes to Thornton feels like a good pivot, weird under-owned guy with upside. Yeah, and a price tag, too, people won't want to play it too much, so I think that makes sense. All right. Overall exposure here. We got Mahomes in 66% of lineups in the flex, so that is going to be our highest exposed guy overall. Marcus Mariota, and the field's at 51, so a positive stand on Mahomes, which makes sense given the fact that projection at 25, like, he's 7 points higher than the next guy. As we mentioned, 2x the fantasy points of a lot of the guys in the top 5. Mahomes really looks unfadeable on the slate, even though we know how showdowns go. Anybody is fadeable theoretically. But if you wanted to put Mahomes in 100% of lineups, I would say I would do that over Rashee Rice in 100% of lineups, because like the projection math favors Mahomes a lot more than it does Rashee Rice being unfadeable. Patrick Mahomes, number 1. Marcus Mariota, number 2. 53% exposure overall. Fields at 49. So Mariota can run. Really, if the Commanders hang in this game at all, even if they get blown out in the fourth quarter, it probably means that Mariota made the winning lineup, would be my guess. Rashee Rice at number 3, 41% exposure, Fields at 44. So, the stochastic sim that just won a guy a milli maker yesterday. How dumb this sim is for not playing Rashee Rice above the field at flex here. We'll see what it does at captain, but Rashee Rice, slight fade here. Being with the field on Rashee Rice, that's fine. Just it's your job. If you're doing a 20 max, doing a 50 max, find lineups without Rashee Rice that still play Mahomes having success. Travis Kelce, 35% exposure in the flex, Fields at 22. And Commanders D, 29% exposure, Fields at 9. So 3x the field stand on Commanders D in the flex. At captain, you're fading Mahomes technically here. 25% exposure for Mahomes at captain. The Fields at 41. Mariota, 15% exposure at captain. Fields at 9. Travis Kelce, 13% exposure at captain. Fields at 12. Fields at 2. Deebo Samuel, 12% exposure at captain. Fields at 3. So really splitting ownership between the secondary pieces, you'll note Zach Ertz is your 5th highest exposure guy at captain, 6% exposure. The field's at 2.4. Rashee Rice, again, these moronic stochastic sims, he says sarcastically again, 5% exposure for Rashee Rice at captain. Basically, if I had to guess, the sim is thinking we have to play Mahomes because the projection is so high and the pass rate for the Chiefs is so high as well. Like Mahomes almost has to hit. Rashee Rice, massive fade here at captain, and also a slight fade in the flex. So I'm not just pulling the shit out of my ass, guys. It's really the main thing here. I might pull a lot of shit out of my ass or put it in. But, like, this is what data looks like. This is what understanding sims. I didn't run the sim this morning, and I knew this is what it was going to come out. So just trying to familiarize your stuff with how the data works is really an important part of the process. And it's not just me selling. That's really me trying to recognize what I see as people playing. Somehow people play dumber every week in DFS. And I don't get why. At this point, stop trying to outthink yourself. Use the data more because the data gets stronger each week, whether it's ETR, whether it's a solver or, same thing, whether it's stochastic, whether it's Saber Sim, Run the Sims, all those projections get stronger because you accrue a larger sample size of just understanding what these players are in each team. Travis Kelce, though, your highest leverage guy at captain. Actually, hold on. Overall highest leverage guys. Commanders D in the flex. Mahomes in the flex. You're getting 15% more for Mahomes, 20% more for Commanders D. Travis Kelce, 13% more in the flex and 11% more at captain. So Sims loving Travis Kelce here. And it makes sense because we know he has an appreciable upside. When he hits his upside, it pulls away from Rashee Rice and allows him to not make a winning lineup. So I would guess that's the logic here that's coming into play. Deebo Samuel, 9% leverage here at captain. Marcus Mariota, also 6% leverage at captain. There we go. Biggest fades in the slate, Mahomes at captain. A 16% negative leverage here for Mahomes at captain. So it doesn't mean you're not playing him. Still 25% of Stochastic's top 150 lineups have him. But this is negative 16% leverage, and I imagine that would grow more if we put in more uniques on the swath of lineups we're grabbing. Isaiah Pacheco, negative 15% leverage for him. Rashee Rice, negative 15% leverage for him at captain. Xavier Worthy, you're getting negative 14% in the flex. It's kind of surprised to see that one. It's odd to fade Rice a little and fade Worthy a good amount, I think, in the data. It surprises me. Brashard Smith, negative 7% leverage for him in the flex. I think he's a decent play with that snap share rising, but perhaps a little bit over-owned at 19% expected for Brashard Smith. All right, let's build a single lineup sim here. Last stage of our journey. I will still give you guys my 3 ways to get unique on the slate based upon everything we saw. Should be pretty obvious at this point, though, I think, if you know how these videos go. Let's go 25 to first here. All right. I mean, I can't play Rashee Rice in this lineup now with everything we've talked about. I think that seems to be the main thing here. I'm going to go... Really think the running backs get a touchdown today. I'm going to go Mahomes flex. Somebody's got to consolidate production for the Chiefs now or the Commanders if I want to play it that way. I mean, I think Mariota's got the best shot to hit. I don't know if this is going to be unique enough, but I'm going to put Mariota at captain. Again, would rather this be a Jaden Daniels slate. The Mariota in a desperation game where they should be throwing almost the moment the game starts more than usual. I think Mariota's got a shot at captain. If we're playing Mahomes, I mean, everybody's going to be trying to play Rashee Rice or fading Rashee Rice and going to Worthy, going to Kelce. So maybe we play the run game. We'll play Pacheco. We'll play Brashard Smith. So we'll play 2 running backs here. Gonna fade Kareem Hunt, even though I have had a general usage boner for Kareem Hunt because he does get in there for the obvious goal line opportunities. And previously, a lot in the obvious 3rd and long. So that might be going away with the snap share dropping so much. We have to stack Mariota with something here. Can McLaurin get going? Chiefs defense... Pretty good defending downfield, only a 0.07 EPA and a 32% catchable or completion rate on those plays, which is not very high. And Mariota only thrown deep 2.3 times a game. It's not a high rate there. I'm still going to go to Deebo in the flex. I feel like McLaurin will be less owned and he is a bit of a mystery box, but I just think Debo's the better player at this point, and he had a week to get healthy. So I'm going to go Debo with our Mariota captain. 5,200 left. We've got Mahomes and none of his pass catchers. We went with the RBs. Smith, theoretically, I'm hoping catches a touchdown from him here. What else can we put at 5,200? We could do the Tyquan Thornton thing. Still play a Chiefs pass catcher. Or we could do Commanders D gets a takeaway, and that's how this game stays competitive. McNichols, too, I don't mind given how he seemed to come up a little bit. Let's go McNichols. This is a pure, the Chiefs get their points early, Commanders play from behind build. Mariota at captain, Mahomes, Pacheco, Brashard Smith, Debo Samuel, Jerry McNichols, leaving 1,800 in the table, negative 26% ROI. Stinks. What happens if we fade Pacheco, we put in Rashee Rice. See if getting a little bit chalkier and getting a little more projection in here helps. We keep McNichols. Can't play McLaurin, though. All right, so we got to take out McNichols now. 3,200 left. Probably want one more commander here. They're all too expensive. Would a Noah Gray TD, he wouldn't have enough upside to make it a captain or anything, but he would cut into the other guys. Let's do that. Let's go Noah Gray. So this team here, we're trying now. Mariota captain, Mahomes, Rashee Rice, Brashard Smith, Terry McLaurin, Noah Gray. Still negative ROI. I give up for the day. You guys saw positive ROI lineups. Use them. I'm going to give you guys my 3 ways to get unique on this slate. And again, my life will not be determined by a negative ROI sim. But I think really just trying to figure out ways, play with that sim more, try to find ways to play Mahomes and Rashee Rice that gives you a positive ROI but gets more unique. Probably going to be the main thing there. But check out number one, click the like button, subscribe. It goes a long way for me here. Of course, just one dude showing you my gambling. Whether you want to agree with it or not, I will try to challenge how you view things because I'm trying to challenge how I view things in every given slate. And that's what hopefully a winning DFS process is. I feel good about my results so far this year, and I would like them to be good for tonight. So let's all go on that journey together here. Subscribe at the like button. New videos Monday, Thursday, and Friday here. Of course, with the main slate videos on Fridays, showdown videos Monday and Thursday, and the premium video as well after the main slate video on Fridays. Stochastic 15% off. Solver link down below. Check one of them or both of them out. Both great tools, different merits. One is an optimizer plus a sim using ETR data. The other builds you a lot of lineups, and Stochastic users are seemingly crushing with it every week. So check them both out. All right. 3 ways to get unique. Number one would be going max one of Mahomes and Rashee Rice. And it doesn't, to be clear, because I think people really struggle with grasping this. If you don't play Rashee Rice, it doesn't mean that you think he's like a bad play. And you still should, if you're doing a 20 max, 150 max, you should still get like 50% Rashee Rice because that's what DFS is. It's managing your exposures and trying to give yourself a balanced portfolio that gives you enough upside to capture first place or, hopefully get close enough that you can win money on a given night. But really, for those two guys, they come up too easily. You could see people getting literally worked up about the idea of not playing them together. That's how everybody's going to feel playing the slate tonight. And that number gets magnified because of it being a casual slate on Monday Night Football. So Rashee Rice and Mahomes, you can think whatever you want about them as plays. I think if you play max one of them or just really be extra mindful of how you're playing them, it's an important way to get unique. Number 2 way seems to be playing more defenses. The sim really loved Commanders D, loved Chiefs D. That said, defense is very volatile on a showdown slate, but certainly here with the Chiefs being an 11-point favorite, Commanders, a team that will, be really unowned. If you hit that outcome right, even if it doesn't happen very often, for the Commanders D in particular, but for Chiefs D, they can make it fairly easily here. That seems like something you should be playing more of on a slate where people will be playing mostly kind of shootout, Chiefs dominant builds. And, third way to get unique, I think, is really just playing a more Commanders dominant builds. The fact that we saw 92% of the top 25 lineups with ETR data all pushing Chiefs dominant builds, you get how that happens because the total's so high. But all it takes is consolidation of production. Even if it's just that only Mahomes and Rashee Rice make a lineup, you get 4 Commanders around that. That could get you unique while still capturing the narrative that people expect. And if you leave some salary on the table or you play some unique Commanders with that, that might be enough to get you off the beaten path while still playing the chalk. And that's how DFS is. If I want to play the chalk, how do I play the chalk in intelligent ways? If my lineup is too chalky, what am I fading but still not losing too much projection on? I hate to have to explain that, but I hope it adds value because I think people still struggle to grasp that, and it's an observation I have doing these videos so often. I will be on the Splash Play Bets channel for NBA in about 55 minutes, so come join me there. I'm going to go cram a bagel in my face, update data, and go check that out. We'll also be on Stochastics live before lock today. It's 7:15 Eastern, so check that out later today. I'm sacrificing Lucas Bath for you guys, so come hang out with me on there. Make sure to gamble responsibly, guys, even though it is always money time here on this channel. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the channel at Splash Play Pod, whether it's on YouTube or Twitter. NBA content, the at Splash Play Bets channel on YouTube will do it, or you could, if you're lazy, you can check the playlist on the Splash Play Pod channel. But I'll see you guys there today. Enjoy your days. Good luck, and go everybody besides that one guy. See you soon. Bye-bye.